Yo, it's your boy Yoko Cooley. Welcome back to the Toast Up Podcast. If you don't know what that means to open a sincere transformation upon people. Yo, this is episode 18, and I got a special guest. I got my homeboy O'Malley in the building. Yes, sir.
Yo, hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Blessings, bro. I met Mel definitely when I was in the 8th grade. I met him at Bay Creek Middle School, and ever since then, I feel like it's just pure energy, always good laughs, great conversation every time we talk, and it doesn't even matter how long we talk for. But the topic today is definitely we're going to talk about body language, and I feel like Mel is definitely the perfect person for this topic. And are you ready to start, bro?
Hey, man, let's go ahead and kick it off whenever you're ready.
Right. Okay, so my first question for you, man, and I want you to definitely speak from the heart, and even if you have to have or give your own experiences through this topic. So we talked about body language before the show. Have you ever felt like sometimes body language, like for your own self, can tell you if you're lying to yourself? Like you may not say it out loud, or you may not be, accepting or something, or you may just be in denial in the moment. But do you think your body can lie to you? Because sometimes our mind can, but do you think your body can?
Right.
And think about it too.
The thing is, though, when you talk about our body lying to us, you got to remember that even though our mind may play tricks on us and lie to us, the body can't do anything without the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of give you an example, right? And from an athletic standpoint, in football, when you're training and stuff and you're going into summertime, you're running those gassers or you're running those sprints and it's hot outside and you just, your brain is telling you, hey, no, like you can't do it anymore. Like, but your legs are still going. You feel what I'm saying? So that's another part of the brain telling your body, no, you still have more in the tank, but you're just deciding to listen to that defeating side of your mind. So in a sense, like, yes, I don't believe that, I don't believe that your body can lie to you, because your body, there's a part of your mind that's telling you that you can actually keep going, but you got to choose and decide what side do you want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Because from a societal standpoint, hey, I've done enough, I'm good. Like, my body's telling me I'm tired, but like, as soon as I walk off and I start to catch my breath, I feel perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, like, as you're walking back, like you take those first 2 steps after you get like a little break, you ready to go. But since you're listening to this side of your brain telling you no, and not this side that's in, or really it's kind of in the back telling you like, nah, keep going, kind of like that reminder right there by your ear. That's why some people, I believe, that like you might say like, hey, my body's, lying to me, but in a sense it doesn't, because your brain's not really lying to you in a sense like either. You're just deciding to listen to the negativity telling you you can't go versus this side that's telling you that you can go. And that's kind of like going into that mental toughness standpoint, and I know we're talking about body language, but that kind of goes into like that mental toughness. Like you have to get yourself in a place, where you can go and not think about the pain that might be going on. And I'm not saying that it's not there, but you have to put yourself in a position to where you can get past that and shoot past that, because without challenges, how are you going to continue to elevate? So it just depends on what side of the brain you want to listen to.
So, okay. So do you feel as though so everything that you just said, right? Do you think that, like you say, you work out a lot, you're more on the active side. Do you think, definitely working out, of course, but just building that physical toughness can help with body language toughness? Because sometimes, you probably hear, I'm pretty sure you heard this quote, you definitely can radiate confidence through your posture. So, a skinny man may not have the confidence as somebody that has muscle. So, but do you think that you can build through athleticism or through, physical activity, some type of confidence of body language that you don't even have to say a word, but your body speak for you, your posture speak for you?
Right. So kind of like, and like kind of correct me if I'm wrong on this, but an example would be like somebody walk into a room and, they may not say nothing, but their like presence is known.
Yeah, like you can look at somebody that's like, okay, his body language says this. like he really wants to be here, or
Right.
this person doesn't want to be here. You can look at him and tell.
Yeah. I definitely think that. You know, even outside of an athletic standpoint, like let's just kind of talk about like work. You know
Okay.
what I mean? You're going into a meeting, you know, you're tired, you know, you really don't want to be there. Your boss might be stressing you out. So when you get into certain things that you really don't want to do, it's kind of like your body language really shows that. And, you know, outside of like your physical, you know, your arm, legs, your stomach, your chest, whatever, like your facial expressions is a part of body language as well. So I think your face is going to tell it all first before anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that somebody can like build that up to have that presence in the room. But I also think, you know, that might not come from a physical standpoint. Like, hey, like a smaller person might want to like lift some weights, but that got to be for like your own internal use. Like, don't do it just because you feel like you're not being read in the room, because there's multiple things that you can do to have your presence felt. Hey, it could be like you coming in and, hey, how everybody doing? You know what I mean? Like just that gesture in itself is like, oh, okay, like this is a confident person who's very inclusive, and his body language, the fact that he walked in here and spoke to everybody this morning, is giving off very, very positive energy. So I think that in itself right there can definitely, you know, like build a presence for somebody. But let's just say like somebody walk in a room and really don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But so for something like that, if you're worried about people's view, it's like, hey, you know, what perception have I given off? Like, what message do I want to portray? Think about it. You go into a job interview, you know, are you gonna come up in there with, you know, holes in your shirt and ripped jeans and Vans?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like, you know, that's a part of your body language. Like at the
Right,
end of the day,
right.
it's clothes, and it's not, you know, you crossing your arms or, you know, going like that when somebody's talking to you, not really paying attention when somebody's talking to you because you might be looking down at your phone. But it's like, hey, what message am I giving off? My body language is my appearance as well.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
might not be through, you know, your physical stature, but it might be like, hey, like, okay, I walk into a room and it's a bunch of people in there. It might be the way that I might have on a bright shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's that right there. This bright shirt alone can tell somebody like all I need to know about this person. In a sense, if somebody wants to go that route.
Okay. Okay. And I like what I'm hearing, because I'm hearing that a lot of things, man, can definitely come from just being yourself, and just definitely not worried about the external things in life, but always just worrying about who you are as a person, because that will eventually project into the external things in the world.
Right.
So I want to talk about like glowing. And I never really understood what that term meant until, like, you know, probably last year, when people say I'm about to glow up. Like, we all know what that means. Basically, you want to boost your sex appeal. But it's crazy when you really listen to your body. When you really listen to your body, when you're dehydrated, you lick your lips, or when you look in the mirror and your hair is growing healthier because you start feeding yourself what you should be.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like, in the sense of like, damn, like I feel like this because I'm not having vitamins today. Maybe I should take some vitamins. Or my body feels like this because I'm consuming a lot of sugar and no fruits. You
right.
know what I mean? So ways that you have grown to be the person you are and glow today, because it shows it all in your skin, your hair, you know what I mean? And just the way you carry yourself by your posture. So what ways have you, or what steps have you took to be the person you are today through just listening to your mind and your body?
Well, I can definitely say, man, like it comes from, I didn't really get like this without necessarily seeking advice. So I'm gonna start there. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have a very influential father figure like in my life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I look up to my dad in many ways that, you know, I get a lot of people would if they had the father like mine as well. And kind of seeing how having that example of a man allowed me to kind of go in and move like that. So you fast forward, that's my, you know, my role model. So now we kind of move into me today. Um, One thing was like, you know, from a working out perspective, like you said, like, you know, my physical physique, you know, I just always wanted to make sure I was like physically fit. I just never wanted to lose that. Especially like being an active athlete for like, I played football for 17, 18 years. So always being in the constant mode of being active and always doing certain things, I never wanted to lose that. Secondly, when it comes from a, you know, skin perspective, you know, it's funny because I was actually like just watching some tutorials on YouTube because I was actually like having a real bad breakout with acne. So
Mm-hmm.
I would go in, you know, I'm just kind of looking up some things, man. And like one of the things that I noticed that somebody said is like, hey, when you are washing yourself, like when you're taking a shower, like don't use like a cloth towel because that can cut your skin. So what I started doing, I just started taking the bar soap, rubbing it in my hands and just washing my face like that. And then I go in on the back end and apply like, just some Neutrogena, just like stuff to like cleanse my face, get a little deeper. And then I always make sure that I'm lotioning myself, like at night. So like just a little bit on the face, what I'm saying, nothing too crazy, arms, back, legs, whatever, just make sure my body is like moisturized because, after taking a nice, hot, warm shower, like your skin is now quote unquote dehydrated, like it's dry.
Yeah.
And then, man, just kind of, some other things too, man, just kind of like the people I surrounded myself with, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always wanted people that, were going to push me to continue to be the best me that I could possibly be, like, and obviously, like, I had to figure out kind of like who I was, but I had people along the way that kind of like, helped me and guided me and people I could bounce things off of. And, people that really like, and end all be all, it's about discipline and accountability. Like, without discipline, you don't have nothing. So like if I tell myself that I'm gonna, get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm gonna go for a mile run and then come back and, shower up, start work or whatever, like I need to make sure I'm disciplined up and I'm doing those actions that I set for myself. Otherwise, I'm not living by my word. But yeah, man, like, cause you heard the phrase, you are who you hang around with. So man, like I'm not the most polished person. I make mistakes, I do things that I'm not supposed to do. But I also think on the flip side of that, everything that I have done, I'm able to learn from and continue to grow. That's why I have the wisdom that I have today, and I'm able to give that to other people so they don't make the same mistakes that I made. I was kind of a hard-headed kid, not really one. Like if I see it, like I'm still might do it. I was like, although there's more like, nah, like if I see somebody do it, I know it ain't working, I'm just not gonna do it. Like I'm gonna make sure like I'm disciplined and know like right from wrong because that's how I was raised. You know what I mean? So your surroundings can definitely be an influence of well, really that was my influence of who I am today.
That's deep, bro. That's deep. Because everything you just said, it takes growth. You know what I mean? Sometimes you look in the mirror, you may not see the growth, but it's progressing. You know what I mean? Because like you said, like you may get a haircut, right? Go bald from January 1st, but from when you get to December 31st, you'll definitely see the growth physically.
Right.
And I sometimes I wish that we can have or see the mental growth that we have, because you may not see it overnight, you may not see it in a week or a month, but you're definitely progressing. You know what I mean? So
and
this
and to kind of like, comment on that, man, I think as people, like we gotta be willing to recognize it first. Like, because one thing that I've noticed, man, is like, somebody may want to do something, but one, you got to be careful who you're seeking advice from, because it's people out there that's going to tell you the truth, and it's people out there that's just going to tell you what you want to hear.
Of course.
But at the same time, on the flip side, for you personally, like you have to have that just that discipline, man. Like you just like it all is just gonna go back to discipline. Like you got to have it in. Like I say, man, one thing that I noticed that people doing, man, is like they ask for something, like they ask for signs for, for things like the universe to show them whatever, or God or whatever, people like believe in, or, how they, cope with their spiritual life. But they don't ever want to take the answers and recognize it because the truth may not feel good. So they like to shy away from that. And it's like, okay, now I'm just going to ignore that sign. I'm going to wait for one that I want. But it's like, nah, this is what you asked for. Like if you pray for rain, you got to deal with mud. You feel what I'm saying? Like you can't have the best of both worlds. So, but you got to be able to recognize that, bring that to the forefront, be able to talk about it, pray on it, do whatever, and then be willing to go through the challenges it takes to get through those peaks and valleys so you can get to the finish line of that growth. And when, you never really notice how much you're growing until you're sitting in a time of reflection. So it's like, and I'll tell you, so for me personally, man, my senior, I was, done with football, had a pro day and everything, fairly decent pro day. But like the scout that was there never entered in any of our numbers for other scouts to see. So for people that I might have been in contact with, they weren't able to see like my numbers. And, a small school guy coming from, an NAIA school in Kentucky, like your numbers are basically like everything, like no matter what the film says or nothing like that. Like your numbers are your numbers. So, man, like, things just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? And, at first I was like, man, I'm over it. But then like I really got into like a really like deep rut. And I was, go to work every day. And like I would be like, like the happy-go-lucky male that I am. But then I would like be ready to go home. And it's like, I'm not talking to my folks. Like I'm just in my room all day. not going to the gym, just kind of like in a rut, just like really like in a bad spot. And for me, I didn't want to deal with the fact or ever talk about like how somebody else, decision not to do something affected my life. Like I never wanted to talk about that because I never want anybody to know or see that somebody else had that much power and control over my emotion. But literally having the people that I was surrounded by, I was having a conversation with my folks one night. And man, I just, just kind of got emotional and just kind of told them everything about how I was feeling. Cause I was like, man, like I can't bottle it in no more. Like I can't, like I have to talk about this, and even though they may not get it from this standpoint, it's like, bro, they gonna have something that they can share with me to be able to kind of help me through this. So man, we talked that night, and I'm not even kidding to you. The very next day, I'm headed to this train station, getting ready to go into New York, and I'm sitting at the red light, and it's this old Caucasian man pulls up next to me on my left side. He's taking a left turn. I'm keeping it straight so I can turn to the parking lot. And he's looking, and like I don't know if I had just a mug on my face or if I just looked like straight face, like the girls say resting bitch face or whatever it was. Like just looking like at the red light.
Yes, sir.
And man, he honked his horn and he started going like this to roll my window down. So me, I'm kind of like, man, what the hey man, like I don't know this dude. Like, somewhere like. So man, I rolled it down. Like some just told me to roll it down, and like this kind of like they go back to that body language that we talking about earlier. Like something inside of me was moving, and I was like, bro, just roll your window down. Man, I rolled it down. Hey man, that old man looked at me. And he said, man, smile. He said, the world is a much better place when everybody is smiling and happy, and have a good day. And he turned left, bro, because his light turned green. That was like one of the most, I would say, wildest moments I've ever had, because I never expected anything like that to happen. Like, this man don't know who I am. He read my body language. That's all he did. And his kind gesture, and I wish I could meet him today. Like, I wish I knew who he was, because like, I kind of view him as the man that saved my life in a metaphorical way. Like, him having that small gesture because he saw my body language is so piss poor that I didn't even recognize. He was able to bring me to the other side without even really knowing it.
That's deep, bro. That's deep, because that goes to show you, man. It's like you can really read people. Like, you may not read minds, but body language is literally like reading minds if you really know how to master it. Like when somebody's breathing, or it's just like sometimes you may not even tell, or you can't even listen to your own body because you have so much toxic energy in there. And like you consume too much sugar, or you eat too much junk food. So it's like your body is trying to tell you like, damn, I don't want this no more. So I'm gonna show you it on your face. I don't want this.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, all right, damn. It's like, all right, you've been in the sun too long. I'm gonna show you that you're not supposed to be in the sun that long, because your hair may not even grow as healthy and your skin get, like really dry.
Right.
When you really, really understand the body language and how it can help you elevate to a higher consciousness, because that guy right there just looked at you and just read it all in your face. Like, this man probably going through things that I went through when I was his age.
Yeah.
I know that.
Right.
He didn't say not one word to you. He just looked at you.
Hey man, he looked.
Roll that shit down.
Hey man, like, but something was shaking up, and man, just roll it down, bro. Like, all right. And he said that. Like, I can't make nothing like that up, bro. I promise you, that was like, it was one of the wildest but most humbling things like that probably ever happened to me, because it's like, hey man, like football, like though that like that was your love and that was your passion at one point in time, like don't let it define you.
Don't, yeah, because
that's not who exactly. That's not who you are. That's just something you do. Yeah. And that right there, but like that just changed my whole perspective on life. Like, hey man, I wake up every day and I smile. If you catch me frowning, something serious than that.
Yeah.
Like something serious. You know what I'm saying? Like something serious than that.
I feel you.
That,
but man, I'm keeping that type. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, bro, because, the fact that you wake up every morning and smile because you're breathing. And I always tell myself, like, damn, like, people didn't wake up this morning. And it's crazy that I feel like a lot of people take for granted waking up and getting back in their bed. Like, you may wake up that morning, but you may not get back in your bed that night.
Right.
So always just appreciate the time and the love that you have with yourself and the people that are around you.
Right.
Your energy is a blessing, bro.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I mean? So let
Yeah.
me ask you this though. Do you think that, we're going to speak from the male perspective. Do you think from the male perspective, men experience more temptation through physical temptation or the mind temptation when they're
Is
dealing
it
with
like when they see like a pretty lady like at a
when
bar or
they
something like
see
that?
a beautiful lady, or when they're about to put themselves in a dangerous situation, or when their body is telling them not to do something but they still do it? Do you think we experience more temptation through the physical standpoint or the mental standpoint? Because your body may tell you things, but
Right.
it could lie to you.
Right. Like I say, man, I think that kind of go back to my first point. What side of the
Mhm.
brain you want to listen to?
Yeah,
Because like at the end of the day, man, like you can't do anything without your brain. Like you can't step right or step left without your brain telling you to do so. Like everything moving in one accordance, man. But I'm gonna have to say mental, and I'm gonna say mental because of this. I feel like as men, we try to live up to whatever type of false narrative that we created in our own minds that might be out there from a societal standpoint. So,
Mhm.
hey man, like
Like elaborate on that when you said like men deal with more things in society. Like I
so
mean, you're just
so
speaking from
not necessarily that we deal with more from a societal standpoint, because I think male and female is pretty
Mhm.
evenly down the middle, and like female definitely might have a little more to worry about because like just quote unquote based on physical male dominance.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that like I say the mental game because I look at who people envy and who they look up to, right? Like who they, look at, especially from a social media perspective. And there's nothing wrong with social media because like you're allowed to click and follow like whoever you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like you have that right at the touch of your fingertips. But whatever you decide to indulge in, understand like that's in your conscious at all, probably 24/7. So I look at somebody, get an example, somebody that might be out there, posting pictures with $100 bills all up and down their arm. Mentally, I see that. I'm like, man, like this dude really balling. Like he got it. You know what I'm saying? You got people, 150 comments. Oh, my dog doing this. Oh, he fresh, Gucci belt, Gucci shoes. Like, and there's nothing wrong with those materialistic things because
Oh, no, it ain't.
you feel what I'm saying? But think about that, like what that's doing to people's mental, especially those that you have influence on. Like
Mhm.
me, I'm a man, so like I'm not like that kind of stuff don't really phase me no more. Like it is what it is. Like
You care with yourself.
I got right. I got what I got. I live within my means. I'm not really out here trying to like look to impress the next person. Like that could be something, but so really it kind of is like there's kind of like that comparison. Like man, like this dude got this. So mentally, like I feel like I need to do something to try to get there. Like think about it, bro. Like I never seen so many people like from a social media standpoint talk down on a 9-to-5 job. Like what's wrong
That's
with that?
the world we live in, bro.
Like,
That is so crazy.
but like then like so think about that. Like you telling people that while you working for somebody, like you can be doing this, that, and the third, start your own business, yada, 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 whoop, whoop. Okay, cool. Like, hey man, I know that there's some like technical things out there, like from a computer where you can start your own business without no money.
Mhm.
But you want to be an entrepreneur, you gotta have some money, like to get started. So now, like you got, little kids, 18, 19, you even got some 20, maybe even 30-year-olds out there that look at, they talking about 9-to-5. I don't want to do that. All right, so now what you got some people doing out here? You got some people scamming. You got people, doing dealings with, drugs and stuff. You got people like doing all kinds of things, like, trying to make money and really just make ends meet so they can pay their bills, or just do it because like mentally, like I'm in this place and it's like, I got to make sure I have this because of this X, Y, and Z. So I think the mental game is where a lot of males deal with things, but like nobody ever wants to talk about it and bring it to the forefront. Like, because most dudes don't want to recognize it's like, hey man, like, man, I know I can't really afford these sneakers right now because I really need to eat tonight, but I'm gonna get these sneakers. I'm gonna post this picture this weekend on Instagram just so I can get 250 likes and I can have people commenting on my outfit versus like, handling your priorities first. And if it come back around on the back end and you got the money to get them $250 shoes, then get them.
That's crazy.
So you know what I mean? So it's just like the way like the mind works and the things that people see and like, the things that they indulge in and kind of interact with, I think mentally that's where a lot of men are, you know, kind of like battling versus like the physical standpoint, like, you know, working out and all that kind of stuff. Because now it's like, okay, and like, let's just say you want to impress a girl. Like, I mean, it's both sides of the fence. You know, you got some people like from a female perspective, you know, it like they kind of want a guy like that want money, that got money and do this, that, and the third. Like that's what you see. Everybody don't necessarily want that. I'm not speaking from a female perspective or nothing. I'm just talking about what I see out there from a social media perspective. So it's like, all right, cool. Like, hey man, I'm not gonna be able to get this girl like working a 9-to-5 job because, you know, I work at, you know, Best Buy, or I work at McDonald's, or, you know, even if you got a corporate job like me and work at Foot Locker, like, you know, whatever, like nobody they gonna look at you like, nah. But like the dude that's got the 100 flex on his arm with the Gucci belt, the Gucci hat, you know, the Balenciaga sneakers, man, that stuff is cool and it look good, but like how long do it really last? Like there's no sustainability in that because you don't have nothing. Like how are you even getting all that? You flexing it, but like, man, like go invest in some stock or something. You know what I mean? Like go
make it sense, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like go, you know, like you could do something with all that. If that's what you really got and that's how you fall, and I truly believe, hey man, like go do something with that and like bring some positivity to that, like build some wealth for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we don't really have, especially as Black folk, like that generational wealth. Man, go create that. You know what I mean? Don't flex it for the gram, like flex it for your grandkids.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy that you say that because I remember, man, when I was really terrible with money, because I feel like, you know, growing up, you want to buy nice things because you want that validation.
For sure.
So I went times like, you know, working, buying the sneakers, buying the clothes, and then only having like $50 for that week. And now I got to wait for my next paycheck. You know what I mean? But thank God I had great parents to help me out. But that goes to show you that, man, when you really are secure with yourself, and it takes time because I feel like you have to have some type of self-love for yourself. Like you can't let the external things dictate who you really are. You know what I mean? And I think it's so crazy, Mel, that people in the world will spend $1,000 on a pair of sneakers, but not even $50 on a toothbrush. Like you only get one set of teeth, so why are you like you know what I mean?
Hey man, priorities, like, man. Like, but even think about, man. I was watching this little Instagram video the other day. This young man went and got like the little teeth, the little false teeth, and like his joints was like too big. Then everybody saying he looked like Steve Harvey. And it's like, man, this dude like 20, I would assume he like 21, 22 years old maybe. But it's like, there was nothing wrong with his teeth. So like, what in the world would make you go and get like the false caps on the top of each one of your teeth? And like now your top teeth are sitting down by your bottom lip. Like
they don't even fit you, bro.
They don't even fit you. Like it, you know, now he's talking about, nah, I'm gonna have to go back and get these removed. Like, man, you just spent all that money to get it done. Like, why would you do that?
For what? And that goes to show you, man. And it was crazy because last week I watched this YouTube channel called Alux. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it teaches you like 15 or 16 ways on different topics. But one of the topics that I was watching was 15 ways that rich people think. And I think it was on the 8th or 9th bulletin point. And it said that rich people consider their money like armies. So if you have $1,000, you really have 1,000 soldiers. So you can give $300 or 300 soldiers to somebody else, or you can invest it by telling your 300 soldiers to go get you some more soldiers. So instead of looking at it on a money aspect, you're just saying like, you know what? I'm going to send 300 soldiers to go work for me so I can make them work for me. So basically making your money work for itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then in 2 or 3 years, instead of having, you know, you gave 300 soldiers to, you know, Nike or Adidas or food, you really just told yourself, yo, 300 soldiers, I'm going to take you out in 2 to 3 years, come back with 1,000 soldiers. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about mindset. You know what I mean? So I never understood. And I mean, and I understand, but I'm at the point when I was like at 21, 20, I'm like, why am I buying all this drip? Because it really doesn't define my worth. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, if you can buy the car, but don't buy that car and lease it or finance it because you want some validation. If you can't, buy your car off. But if you can't because your situation different, then don't. But don't, you know what I mean? And I was on Twitter. It's crazy how we have 24-year-olds, 23-year-olds, or people that's just under 27 financing Mercedes Benzes and can't even put gas in the car. You know what I mean? Like at that point, you might as well buy a Honda, bro, because this shit is less on gas. It's good cars and it's cheap to fix. Right. But you want to worry about what other people think about you. So that's why I said, like, when it comes to being just secure with yourself, And when you really have self-love, you don't really care. Like you can buy all the J's, all you want, all the Yeezys you want, but it's not going to define your worth.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
Right.
And at some point, like you said, man, like it gets to some point where you like, you recognized it though. Like, man, why am I buying
Yeah.
all this stuff? Like, why do I keep buying these $185, $200 like AJ11s? Like, why? Like,
Mhm.
I already got a pair of sneakers that's black, that's OG colorway. I got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I
Oh,
need
yeah.
another pair? Like, and just because it's a Jordan 1 versus a Jordan 3 versus a Jordan 5, like,
Feel
nah,
you.
I don't need all of that. Like, hey man, I can only put on one at a time.
That's facts. And it's crazy that you say that because it's like like you said earlier, it's nothing wrong with buying nice things. There's nothing wrong with that because if you can afford it, buy what you want. But I
100%.
don't want a lot of people to go out here and buy things that they can't afford for likes and status symbols and validation, bro, because that's not going to validate who you are. You just like something within. You know what I mean? So if you got 10 bands, buy what you want as long as you can afford it. But why are you buying things that you can't afford just to be liked?
Right.
Because you hate yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and man, like you can almost tell, you know what I'm saying, like what you just gave, the example that you gave, which is that validation, kind of like through body language. You know, if you're able to interact with that person like face to face, kind of like, man, like he fresh, but like even like the way he talked, the way he kind of acting right now, the way he kind of just moving, like man, it's a little off. It's like, all right, this dude, like, you know, kind of got to watch him in the corner of the eye. Same thing from like with females too. All right, like she moving a little different. Like she looked good right now. She got on all the clothes, but like, man, just kind of like some just a little off, like just by the way that like they going about doing things. Like I say, it's male and female perspective, but it's just like you can notice that though. You know what I'm saying? And like people just got to be able to recognize it, try to deal with it, go through the challenges, the ups and the downs and the valleys, try to get to that other side. Because at the end of the day, we just all want to be better versions of ourselves, whatever that may look like. At the end of the day. So at some point, like you said, it stopped for everybody. Because you can't be 40 years old out here talking about you flexing AJ1s. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like a certain point, and it's like, bro, why are you doing that? Like, worry about your family, dog. Worry about your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight up.
That's what's up, though. So, bro, let me ask you this. I know that you're what year or what age did you say to yourself that I'm secure with myself? Or are you still currently going through that that process?
Man, I would have to say, like, I always kind of knew who I was, but I would say, man, like the 2020 year probably like did it for me. Like, no lie. Like,
that shit introduced a lot about yourself. Then the niggas
hey,
was in
man,
the crib like, what am I doing?
Hey man, like people, honestly, man, and I hope we don't ever have to go through another pandemic. And as long as like in my lifetime, like I don't ever want to have to be inside for this long. But I will say, man, having the time to really kind of like be in thought and really kind of like think through things and like kind of reminisce and reflect. Like I think reminiscing and reflection is always going to allow you to kind of, okay, look at this and this, and then grow from it. And I think really it kind of started like with my with the story I gave you earlier, you know, with the man who really who saved my life, like I say in a metaphorical way. And then man, like going into that 2020 year, man, like, you know, single, like in the house, like working, like not really communication with anybody, like ain't too much going on from a social media perspective. So it's like, you know, ain't nothing to post and nothing to look at because everybody inside the house, like we doing push-up challenges, tagging 4 or 5 people, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we wilding.
Trying to find some entertainment.
You feel what I'm saying, man? And I think, man, like really like, you know, having that time in 2020 to just like sit and reflect and think about some of the things that I might have done wrong and think about some of the things that I might have done right. And really, man, honestly, being secure in myself really started with kind of building that foundation, that relationship with God. You know what I mean? Like I don't tell anybody, you know, I'm not a Bible thrower, you know, I'm not none of that. Like I don't force religion upon nobody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own beliefs, whether they call it God, the universe, you know, Buddha, Allah, all that stuff. Like, but I feel like personally, you know, like with my own spiritual journey and my sacred pace, that I have developed like who I'm secure and who I am because I know my friend Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. And being able to sit and identify and talk to him really, and because they say like bring all your worries and your desires to him. Like bring both. Like don't just bring your desires, don't just bring your worries, bring both of them, because you got to talk about both. Can't just talk about the good all the time, and you can't just talk about the bad all the time, because everybody has wants and desires in our heart, but we also have some worries and like pains and concerns that we need to get off our chest as well. So man, being able to kind of sit and talk with him and really like understand verses. Like I got Joshua 1:9 tatted right here. You know what I'm saying? It's, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Like, hey man, okay, cool. Like, you with me wherever? Shh, I ain't have to worry about nothing. I know me now. Like, I'm good. Oh, I ain't like, I'm your child, and I'm good.
Yes,
Let's go. I'm ready to, I'm all for tackling like now. I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I think like, and like I say, man, I'm not even really like the biggest like Bible reader. Like I do, but I do read devotions every morning. And those devotions are kind of broken down to a sense where it can relate to me personally, and I can understand it. Because you look at some of those King James versions and all that kind of stuff, man. Like some of the word play it don't correlate with me. You know what I'm saying? But when I get that New International Version, I'm able to like break it down, and I'm like, okay, like man, like this is crazy how you talk about this story right here, and how it about look at love, or look at verses about security and future and possessions and all that kind of stuff. And really you got to figure out what brings you joy, and that's really having a root and understanding, the word of God. In a sense, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Bible reader, but those verses that I do read on a devotional level, like it helps me. Like, hey, man, I'm reading the story of God. Like in the sense, like it's a verse. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the Bible, and man, we always talk about creating your own happiness, but you never hear anybody say you can create your own joy. You feel what I'm saying? The Bible talks about giving you joy in mind. I want that. I want joy and peace of mind. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being happy, but understand that happiness is just an emotion that's based on circumstances, and outcomes. Like it's forever changing. So if you didn't get the job promotion that you wanted, you could have been happy-go-lucky the whole time. But if you didn't get that promotion, you're not going to be upset. Your body language is going to show. Your facial expressions is going to show. Everything is going to show in the way that your actions, the physical part, is not going to show as well, because you're not really rooting anything. You're just happy for the moment because you got the interview. You feel like everything went well. Somebody might have boosted you up to somebody, but you didn't get the job. Where your happiness go? It's gone.
Yeah.
Got to have that joy and that peace of mind.
Yeah. I always felt like happiness definitely can be temporary, but joy is forever.
Joy is forever.
You know what I mean? Like that's when you're at peace with yourself. Nothing, you fail a test, I'm still living, I'm still breathing. You know what I mean? Something happened to your car, something happened that you don't want, or it doesn't go in your favor. It's like, yeah, you're upset during that moment, but consistently you have joy. You know what I mean? And some people don't have that in life, man.
Right. Yeah, man. I believe like joy and peace of mind is like the root to alignment, kind of getting closer to God's will. Like I believe that is, true alignment, because, granted, we gonna have emotion. Hey, man, somebody get in a car accident, like, somebody hit you with a fender bender, you gonna be like, man, like that doesn't mean pain and disappointment and challenges like don't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't, anybody get that confused. Like, I'm talking about like the good right now and kind of like my relationship and how I got to my point, but that doesn't mean that like pain, disappointment, curiosity, questioning, all that kind of stuff didn't come into effect during the process. It happens. I'm human. Like I'm human. I'm supposed to feel those type of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? But being able to feel them, and talk myself through like that side and the good side is like, okay, now I can come to this balance because I got the answer that I wanted, seeking God's will. So now I'm in a perfect alignment.
Man, blessings, bro. I think, man, we touched up on a lot, bro. I want to definitely go ahead and wrap it up, because I feel like we spilled some quality wisdom, man. This is the Toast Up segment. I'm not sure if you got your coffee or water bottle.
Oh yeah, no, I got my coffee, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, toast to you, Mel, man. Toast to being an educated Black man. Toast to just the coming on this podcast and dropping gems, man. Toast to your body language, because it says it all, that you're glowing. You can see it in your skin, hair, smile, and everything, man. So
I appreciate, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. This is definitely a blessing, and I hope the audience out there listening, that they get something from this.
Yes, sir, bro, man. Toast to you, and man, and toast to your achievements, Mel.
All right, man. Likewise, brother. Love, man.
Hey, man, we definitely gonna link